You are born spiritual. Don't let anybody deceive you. The reason why somebody is become that powerful in your own words and somebody is not is practice. So the two obviously they'll be different. But if you are willing to yield to yourself, naturally you were created to be spiritual. That's a natural way of things. That's the order the Creator has created. As a matter of fact, there shouldn't be any single individual, any single person on the face of the earth that is not spiritual. Spirituality is not something that has to be willed to you. You were created with it because you have a spirit. If you have a spirit and you have the understanding of that spirit and you walk in that spirit and you use that spirit for productivity, is that not spirituality? Every single personality on the face of the earth is spiritual. Now, spirituality has become something that if you are not born into it, if you don't walk in a particular way, you cannot be spiritual. Who deceived you? Who lied to you? Spirituality is the right of every single person on the face of the earth. So how is it that you have to be bound and down? You have to say some mystical words. You have to follow some mystical code and mystical principles to become spiritual. Who lied to you? You are powerful. You've always been powerful. The Creator created you this way. Akwaba. Welcome to the Maker series. I'm myself, Kojo Bento. Always a delight, always excited to come your way. Don't forget to order your power stick. Like I told you, this is literally your mobile altar. On this platform, you will be able to speak to whatever energy you want to speak to. At the same time, this has enough energy to protect you, keep your finances safe. I've said a whole lot about a power stick. Just make sure you order a power stick today. If you have any inquiries, please go to our website, www.makera.org, or call our numbers, +233-244-016568. Just come in, call in for your inquiries, whatever you want, and Makera is ready to serve you. We are literally at your service. I'm gonna go on with my class, and the area I want to talk about is something that has been eluded a lot. I was a victim. Should I call myself a victim? I was actually into it, right? Most people take peace and joy are the ultimate of a spiritual life. So if you want to be in a specific spiritual life, or if you want to be on a spiritual path, then you should strive to attain peace. You should strive. It's like that is the end game. That is where it's supposed to go. And if at the end of the day, if you don't have peace and you don't have joy, You've totally lost it. You've worked a useless case. You just wasted your entire time pursuing the one thing you should go after the most, and you didn't. How can you ever enjoy anything if you don't have a peace of mind to enjoy it? How can you stay in a place, stay in an environment, if you're not actually glad to be in that environment? Why would you want to wake up every day going to a specific place that gets you sad all the time? Wow, I'm trying to understand why you'd want to do that. You'd want to go to a place where it's constantly about that. No. You would always want to, even in your marriages, would you want to enter a marriage that is full of bitterness, hurt, and sorrow and all of that? Would you walk into a marriage if you don't have a peace of mind in your marriage? So tell us, how do we even assume these things? Begin to think that you know what is peace at the end of the day, that you would receive. It should be the fundamental, if not anything at all. Before you start a spiritual process, the first place you got to be at is a place of peace and absolute calmness, and actually enjoy being on the spiritual part. Because without these fundamentals, you literally give up. You wouldn't even want to be around it. How can you enjoy anything in this life if you are stressful? How can you enjoy the spiritual energies and the spiritual journey if you're full of stress and anxiety? Peace and joy are not the things you attain at the end of your life. They are the basics of your life. They are the basic thing you should attain, the basic thing you should go for. Not the ultimate, not the final say, not the final piece. Basic things you should go for. If you don't have these basic necessities, forget about any spiritual journey. Forget about any spiritual process that you want to be on. It's not going to work. It's simple. How can you enjoy going to the shrine full of fear? If you're afraid, if you're terrified, if you don't have an absolute peace of mind, how can you enjoy how can you even pray? Come on. How can you enjoy the food your body eats if you're stressed out? Don't walk on the spiritual path for peace. The reason why most people consider peace to be the highest admiration is simply because peace has been deprived or denied them their entire life. This is why people want to project peace as the ultimate thing. As a matter of fact, you would only do so because you've literally never had peace. So when you come out of a situation where you've never had peace, you would always want to find yourself in another situation that gives you peace. You would never leave a situation of peace, total joy, total calmness, and now want to go and look for peace. It doesn't happen. In most religious setup, they say this word, shalom. Most spiritual setup, right? Shalom simply means what? The word simply means peace. And it's not just about peace. It also means harmony, wholeness, completeness, prosperity, welfare, tranquility, and can be used idiomatically to mean both hello and goodbye, right? We need to understand the technicalities of this word. Why would there be peace, or why would there be the need of urgent peace? This word be such an important and an integral part of anybody's aspect of life. Why the sacristy of the word? How does the word all of a sudden become the most important, powerful word in the place? Because all the definitions, let me mention them again. I mentioned them. Peace, harmony, wholeness, completeness, prosperity, welfare, tranquility. And used to say bye. In my language, the word to say bye is not peace. It's not shalom. It's dayeh. The word to say morning is machi. And I'm like, it's not peace. So in my language, nobody is looking out for peace as the ultimate word. The problem is that we've lost the sense of our being. We've lost the sense of who we are. So we are quickly running after things that has no meaning to who we are. These are the technicalities of the origination of this word, because the people in these regions that needed this word to remind them of their ultimate goal never had peace. As a matter of fact, still don't have peace. Go to the Middle Eastern areas. We've heard all about the war between Pakistan and Israel. And they created this word because they never had peace. And because they didn't have peace, there was a constant need for the reminder that, you know what, we need peace in our lives. We need to be at peace because there's constant war. They're living most of the time in the desert places and what have you. They need prosperity. They need their lands to grow well. They need tranquility. They need all these things. Our fathers, on the other hand, had absolute peace to these people. These aliens came to our shores. Our fathers enjoyed peace. So peace was not the ultimate thing. As a matter of fact, every family you went to, even growing up as a child, the families, the community, the villages was so peaceful. Till date, if you go to the villages, there's so much peace than compared to the cities. People in the cities are so stressed out. Come to our shrine. Come and pay a visit here. Everything about the place is absolute calm, total peace of mind. In fact, when you get here, the air that you breathe in here is absolutely different from any air you breathe anywhere else in the world. So once you get to this place, why would I be praying for good breath? Why would I be wondering and praying that, I enjoy peace of mind? I have peace. As a matter of fact, it's based on this peace that we are able to build the spiritual works that we are doing. This is why we know, no matter what your sickness is, no matter what your disease is, when you come to our community, when you come to our place, we will be able to heal you. The specialists, the doctors, all the nurses, everybody around will be able to offer you the treatment that your body needs, the wholeness that your body needs. As a matter of fact, if your physical body does not enjoy peace, there is no way you would recover from any disease, any sickness. It's a fact. So these people needed peace because the region, the area, the space that they found themselves, there was nothing like peace. But our fathers had peace. We had peace. So peace had never been the ultimate to the spiritual cause. As a matter of fact, because they have peace, they are able to drum and dance and raise the vibration of the villages and raise the energy in the villages and take the whole thing to the next level. But the people on the other side needed that. That is why they had to project this word and raise the expectation of this word to be the top notch, to be something that nobody would ever. Let me paint a picture. If you find yourself in a place like Antarctica or Greenland, right? If you find yourself in a place like that, what would be the thing that you would need the most? If you're living in these regions and somebody showed up, a black man or a white man showed up with gray foot of beard and hair and all of that, and said, behold, I am your God. And you're living in Iceland. You're living in Antarctica. You're living around North Pole. What would be your reaction to that God? What would be the first question? Can you provide me some heat? So because it's cold. So the only thing you're thinking about is how to keep your body warm, the temperature of the place. You see, can you raise the sun? If you are a God, can the sun come up? So in an area like this, the only thing they would consider as the ultimate thing would be for heat, for temperature. So the person showing up to say, I am your God, I am here to bring you peace. See, I don't need peace. That's not what I need. I need some heat. It's the same way. If you show up, if you are starving, if you're hungry, okay, and you haven't eaten for a long time, and a presence shows up, an energy shows up to your door, and says, I am your God. But you haven't eaten for months. And show up and say, I am your God. I need you to have total joy. Would joy make sense to you in that circumstances? Would you want joy in that circumstance? I just want to know. If you're hungry for months, you don't need joy for anything. All you need is to fill your stomach with some food. So in that instant, when food shows up, food automatically becomes your God. I explained the principle of setting up a God. I told you how long it means. So in that circumstance, the food literally becomes your God. And that's all you need. That's the most important and relevant thing to you. So you'll be saying, oh, I have food, food be unto you, food be unto me. Because food is the only thing you need. No wonder in certain tribes and traditions, you see all different images, so many other images used as a representative of their energies. Some are using parrots, some are using monkeys, some are using elephants, some are using even food, piece of bread. And these are all images that they idolize and honor as their energy, their presence, because when they needed that particular thing the most, that particular thing showed up. This is why when certain young ladies go, or our mothers went into marriages, their husbands became their Lord. So they refer to their husbands, my Lord. But you sit in the church or you sit in your congregation and say, oh Lord, I worship you. Their wife, that is so much honoring the husband, is just saying, my Lord, his Lord, my Lord, I'm in service to you. And the Lord said unto my Lord. Listen, when you are in a position where somebody starts a better position to bring you where you need to be, that person automatically becomes your Lord, because you're God. So as wives are calling husbands, my Lord. When you find yourself in a courtroom, right, and you are being alleged, there's an allegation on your life, and you're facing life sentence, who would be your God in that courtroom? It's not the judge sitting in the seat. In that church, would you care about who the imam is, who the spiritual person is, who the monk is? Would you care about all of that? That wouldn't work, because in that state, in that time, the only person that is most important to you is the judge in the courtroom. When you find yourself in a situation, that situation becomes a lord over you. How then do you glorify that situation to be the utmost? The minute You're outside a courtroom. Let me ask you, be honest with yourself. Be honest, right? Would you ever go and look for the judge? If you've never been in a police altercation, I've been in a situation with the police, right? And in that moment when the police was arresting you, the police was everything. Oh, I buy me pacho. Oh, I buy me pacho. Oh, I buy. The police is everything. The minute you're out of that case, do you go and look for the police person again? How then do we say peace and joy? These are the fundamentals. And a lot of people want to wonder why most Europeans and most churches in the Europe states are falling out of religion. Because they don't need religion anymore. Do you know when they needed religion? When they had to invade our shores. When they had to come to our shores. That is when they needed religion most. Because that was the tool they needed to enslave our fathers. That's the tool they needed to deceive us, to mislead us. And they are still using those tools. So these people, when they come to our shore, they are the most holiest endowed people. But when they sit in their countries, I'm telling you, they have nothing to do with the church. Why? Because they don't need a church there. Why are they turning all their churches into nightclubs? Because they don't need it anymore. They've outgrown that hunger. They've outgrown that thirst. This is why you cannot limit yourself. You cannot subject yourself to a present circumstance. I promise you, the reason why most people are in the church is simply because they are scared of hell. Because they are afraid of going to hell. If you never had to go to hell, if you never had any witch, any demon, any person pursuing your life, if you never had a need for prayer, because prayer is a whole different subject, we'll one day discuss it, but in the religious concept, if you never ever had a need for prayer, would you ever find yourself in a church? You don't need salvation, you don't need any Christ saving you, there's no sin to be punished. If you don't have all these things, would you still find yourself in the church? So let's stop deceiving ourselves. The reason why we find ourselves in these places because we are thinking salvation. Because a lot of people say, oh, Jesus, I love you. You don't love no Jesus. Oh, Muhammad, you don't love no Muhammad. It's because that decision, that point of view, that stand that you have is leading you somewhere. And because of where you are going, you're so much glued to it because you know your salvation is based on that. If there was never a need for any salvation, would you find yourself in a church? We keep deceiving ourselves and say, oh, I mean, you are not. We both know that you're not in love with anything or anybody. Once you begin to outgrow that situation, that circumstances, that particular place you find yourself, all of a sudden you have no need for that thing. When you are deprived of something for a very long time, that particular thing becomes your ultimate or your highest aspiration. The human life is constantly longing for unlimited expansion. Constantly. And that is the only thing that will settle you for good. Because you always yearn something more. You're always looking for the spiritual quest is not a cultivated choice. It is not an induced quest. It is a natural longing, but unless you handle it consciously, it will never yield to you. Naturally, you were created to be spiritual. That's a natural way of things. That's the order the Creator has created. As a matter of fact, there shouldn't be any single individual, any single person on the face of the earth that is not spiritual. It's like saying that we will have somebody on the face of the earth that wouldn't need breath. Can you ever fathom that? That somebody is alive, something is alive, a creation is alive, and the creation wouldn't need breath. So the spiritual conquest, the spiritual quest is such that the Creator ensured that every single personality on the face of the earth is spiritual. But now we have reversed the whole technology. We have reversed the whole thing around. And now spirituality has become something that if you are not born into it, if you don't walk in a particular way, if you don't talk in a particular manner, if you don't walk in a particular function, if you don't do things in a particular, you cannot be spiritual. Who deceived you? Who lied to you? Spirituality is the right of every single person on the face of the earth. Spirituality is not something that has to be willed to you. You were created with it. Because you have a spirit. If you have a spirit and you have the understanding of that spirit and you walk in that spirit and you use that spirit for productivity, is that not spirituality? So how is it that you have to be bound and down? You have to say some mystical words. You have to follow some mystical code and mystical principles to become spiritual. Who lied to you? Who made you become that person? That things that you have to follow certain conduct before you can be spiritual. It's your natural right. Spirituality is just a natural phenomenon that the minute you begin to be aware and allow it take its form, automatically you come into a spiritual place. You have a body, right? Imagine me telling you, you need to recite some things before you can have a physical body. How would this fly anyway? You have a physical body right now. Imagine me telling you, you have to believe something before you can have a mind. You have a mind. You are thinking, for crying out loud. By now, you're probably writing out comments and probably insulting me. You're using your own mind. Do I need to convince you to have a human mind? But why do I now need to convince you to have a spiritual life? Why does somebody have to come and conjure certain things? Because, oh, this is spiritual, this way. You are powerful. You've always been powerful. The Creator created you this way. You don't need convincing. All you have to do is yield to your spiritual force. It's yield to that aspect of your life. It's to yield to that part of your life. And you literally become spiritual. This simple thing. This natural, beautiful phenomenon that the Creator has created into existence. People have been able to mystify it. People have been able to rebrand it and make it into a religion and cause everybody to follow into human ideologies and human fundamentals and human take-on. And this human take-on has become a symbol for everybody to look up to. You are born spiritual. Don't let anybody deceive you. The reason why somebody is become that powerful, in your own words, and somebody is not, is practice. Whoever it is has just been practicing for a long time. You, on the other hand, have been believing what another person is saying for a long time. So the two, obviously, they'll be different. But if you are willing to yield to yourself, the case is closed. Anyway, my time is up. I gotta let you go. Listen, make sure you connect to us. Go into our website, www.makera.org. Call our numbers and let's have a conversation. Let's talk to you. Let's see how best we can help you for your entire well-being. We are here to actually serve your entire well-being, from your physical, mental, spiritual, your craft. We are here to serve you. This Makera. I love you guys. Mwah.